Good afternoon, I'm Malcolm Jordan and this is your Midday News Fix for Tuesday the 14th of October. National MPs are criticising Labour's leader for not rolling out working with Te Pāti Māori after it's emailed members documents containing serious allegations. They relate to former staffer Eru Kapakingi and also point to a $133,000 overspend at MP Maria Meno Kapakingi's office. Eru has recently publicly criticised the party's leadership and decision-making. Recent polls suggest Labour would need to work with Te Pāti Māori to form a coalition government. National's Judith Collins describes Te Pāti Māori as a mess.
I read it and I thought, well, Chris Hipkins has got a lot to deal with, hasn't he?
Roads are closed in many North Island parts, lashed by wet weather. Orange rain warnings apply to Waitomo, Waikato south of Raglan and Cambridge, and also Eastern Bay of Plenty ranges. State Highway 3 is closed north of New Plymouth between Mako and Piopio, with flooding and slips stranding some vehicles. Highway 30 is closed south of Tekawiti. 31 is closed east of Oparo. 4 is impacted north of Whanganui and closed north of Taumaranui. Waitomo Mayor John Robertson says the heavy rain follows a wet few days.
Figures like 70 millimetres of rain in the last 24 hours, and most of that occurred in the early hours of this morning.
The mood is heavy across Israel and occupied Palestine as prisoners and hostages are swapped. About 2,000 Palestinians have been freed and Hamas has returned 20 Israeli hostages. Mediating countries have signed the ceasefire paperwork. CNN's Nader Bashir says Israel warned Palestinians not to take part in any celebrations under threat of detention or other penalties.
Speaking to Israelis, we've been hearing from them that this is a heavy price to pay, but of course, in their eyes, an acceptable price given the release of those Israeli hostages.
Labour's not letting the government take sole credit for new literacy stats. Results from the new phonics program show 58% of students are at or above expectations after 20 weeks. More than 40% exceeded expectations in Term 3. Labour's Chris Hipkins says these results come from the Structured Literacy project introduced under Labour.
So yes, I think it's a good announcement. It's good to see progress. It'd be good to see teachers back in the classroom rather than on strike. And so I think maybe that should be Erica Stanford's number one priority.
No slowdown in the increasing cost for seeing a GP. The GP Owners Association's annual survey shows small improvements to some practices, finances and patient numbers, but 85% confirmed that fees had recently increased or would soon. Association Chair Dr Angus Chambers says 23% are financially worse off.
The two sources of money are government funding and patients, and unfortunately patients are bearing the brunt of it. That is proving a barrier to access for a lot of people.
Patrick Tuipulotu in sport is out of the All Blacks Grand Slam tour and could be gone from the game for 6 months after surgery on a shoulder injury. He's been replaced by Sam Darry. Gail Parata has resigned as Silver Fern selector in a show of support for what she considers the poor treatment of estranged coach Dame Nolene Taurua. An historic day for Cape Verde off the coast of Africa. Their football team has beaten Eswatini 3-0 to secure a maiden spot at a World Cup next year in North America. I'm Malcolm Jordan. That's your latest news fix. We'll be back with the next update at 5 p.m. from the Newstalk ZB newsroom.